it's Monica here. I am at a happy hour hosted in Phoenix, Arizona. So I am very excited to meet some local data nerds. I want to see if I can do like some speed lightning round version of my podcast while I'm meeting all kinds of new awesome people. So let's see how it goes. My podcast, it's called The Data Podcast for Nerds. And what I do is basically interview interesting data professionals and I ask them about their origin story, right? Because I'm a nerd. I like people's origin stories and how they got to data and also like how they use data to solve the world's problems. Okay. But we're at an event and there's not enough time to like go through all of that. So I thought about this like idea where like, you know, those people on the streets that are like, hey, what's up? And then just like quick back and forth lightning round type stuff. And I was like, okay, let's do that for Data Podcast for Nerds and just make it a fun thing. Nice. So tell us who you are and what do you do?
Hi, I'm Ben Rogojan, aka the Seattle Data Guy. I do consulting for companies where I help them set up their data stacks or help them figure out what the right solution is for them, you know, implement it, or possibly unscramble something that they've already built. So yeah, that's generally what I do.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here and having us and hosting this. This is an awesome event. So questions, lightning round, go. Is it data or data?
I'm going to say it's data because someone once made the joke about my name being Seattle Date a Guy. So.
Are you serious?
Yeah, someone made that joke once. I was like, haha, I was single at the time, so it was kind of funny.
That's hilarious. Okay. Do you treat data as a single or a plural word? So is it the data is awesome or the data are awesome?
I imagine singular because I would think it's like data is awesome, but I know there's also datum, but I have never heard anyone use that technical term. I think datum is the technical singular, if I recall. I think data is technically the plural and datum is the singular, but I don't think anyone uses it that way.
All right, I have something to look up when I get home. Second question, when you're learning new things, whether that's like a new data topic or a new skill, what is your go-to resource?
Sure, I mean, like, I go to a few different ones. Like, I'll often go to, like, I have a Udemy subscription, like, just the subscription, because I'm just like, oh, I just need to, like, quickly learn, like, 2 or 3 things about this topic. So I'll use that. Then combine that with generally like blogs to kind of like further dig into it, and then documentation on the actual, like, especially if it's like a tool, on the actual tool itself, like, oh, what's the documentation say about it? So usually start broad and then try to keep going narrow as I need to go deeper.
Last question. So part of my podcast, I have a section called Fun Bits because we're all data nerds and we need to have some fun. So is there a fun fact that you can share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of fun for me. It's like before I did data, I thought I was going to do fine dining, so I, like, for about 5 years between 16 to 21, I worked in fine dining. So yeah, that was my original background until I realized you don't make money in that area. So
what did you do? Were you a chef or?
Yeah, like technically a line cook or of some kind. You know, chef is technically the person in charge, so, you know, never that high up. So
what was your specialty cuisine?
I originally worked for like a northern Italian place, so we did a lot of like richer like food that would tend to be heavy, like kind of Italian food. Then eventually the last place I worked was like modern American, so everything we did was kind of like, maybe it was like Frenchy, but it was like, how do you modernize it? And like, we weren't doing crazy, you know, molecular gastronomy type stuff. We were doing like, you know, occasionally we'd add a little foam here or gel there, kind of stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. Do you still cook at home?
Yeah. But I definitely just do like kind of simple, you know, everyday meals. I don't do anything like crazy fancy.
You don't Gordon Ramsay it up in your kitchen?
I mean, I always loved like homey foods, you know, delicious pasta, stews, things of that nature anyway. So yeah.
You can't go wrong with pasta. It is a comfort food. All right. Well, any last words for the data nerds out there?
I don't know. Keep learning, I guess.
I did throw that last one in there. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
Can you let us know your name?
Yeah, my name is Mickey. Mickey Glover from Arizona, with a send.
Do you pronounce it data or data?
Data.
Data, yes. Do you treat data as a single or a plural? So is it the data is awesome or the data are awesome?
The data is awesome.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, I treat it as plural, but I do say is, but I'm also not grammatically correct, so...
When you're learning new things, so whether it be like a new data topic or a skill set or whatnot, what is your go-to resource?
I would definitely have to say like YouTube or Google is my go-to resource, Reddit, and then the documentation.
Can you tell us a fun fact about yourself?
Yeah, I help with data, but I love to work on like the nutrition and UFC side of things. So I have friends who are in like UFC, and I love looking at like their nutrition and like kind of comparing how they eat and how they didn't eat, and then their fighting performance.
That is fascinating. So like, do you do that with your own data, like with, I don't know, tracking on a spreadsheet and then seeing how that works?
A lot of it is just kind of like they have like MyFitnessPal or like one of those fitness apps, and then they track what they eat, and then I pull like a CSV of that, and just like, hey, you know what, you were tired this fight, but look at what you ate and look at like how you ate, and do you think like this and this contribute to it?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
What is your name and what do you do?
My name is Alex Butler. I'm a senior analytics engineer at Harness, and I do stuff with data.
Is it pronounced data or data?
Data, definitely data. I prefer data. I'm gonna hold my ground there. Honestly, I treat it as a singular, though I know semantically it's like a plural. I treat it as a singular. I can't say the data are.
We're trying to figure out if what's grammatically correct. I'm not sure yet, but
I'm not sure, but I go with my heart here, and I'm gonna say the data is. But I respect you if you say the data are.
I like the data are, but
Feels creative.
when you're trying to learn new things, whether that's like a data topic or a skill or whatnot, what is your go-to resource?
My go-to resource is if I can find like an open source project that's somewhat related to the thing that I'm doing, I would go to that project, look at the code, look at the repository, maybe clone it and see kind of if I can interpret what's going on. That's kind of been the best way that I've learned about anything. So I'd highly recommend open source as a learning platform, even if you've never done it before.
I love that. Can you tell us a fun fact about yourself?
A fun fact about myself is, despite me being in front of my computer all the time and being a data nerd, you wouldn't expect that I also am a black belt in Krav Maga. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and like to ride motorcycles. So if you don't know someone, just because they like are wearing a hat that says data, you shouldn't get in a fight with them. Don't pick a fight. You never know what people are like.
I love that. I think that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a trend all of a sudden. I swear my episode 5 just dropped today, and I talked to somebody that coined themselves as a data strangler. And so he does data with Jiu-Jitsu videos.
There you go. Nice. That's crazy. There's some ideas brewing there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so very much. Please let us know your name and what you do.
My name's Marie, and I work in data consulting.
Do you pronounce it data or data?
I say data. I think that's due to Star Trek, isn't it? I know data is the proper one, but I do say data.
Do you treat data as a single or a plural word?
I say the data is. I've not thought about it in plural or singular, but I'd say the data is.
That's been the consensus around everybody saying it. I say the data are, but that might just be because I'm a little bit weird. When you're learning new things, whether that's like a new data topic or a new skill, what is your go-to resource?
Google. Like, I know that's the generic answer, but Google is so safe. And I believe Googling is a skill. So, and that'll lead me to LinkedIn or maybe other courses, like MOOC courses. But there is so much just free content on Google, and none of it's too far away.
I agree. And don't you think that people underutilize Google?
Absolutely. I, again, definitely believe being able to effectively Google search is a skill. You can learn whatever you need to do. So, and it'll bring you to the other places like the edX, the Udemy, LinkedIn, Medium article, wherever you need to go. But just Google it.
Just Google it. Can you tell us a fun fact about yourself?
A hobby of mine that I'm trying to get into this spring is gardening, like patio gardening with the little containers and stuff. So I've gotten most of the stuff, but a project for this weekend is going to be actually putting like seeds in soil, and fingers crossed something grows. I don't exactly have a green thumb, so fingers crossed that come this summer I have real plants.
What are you trying to grow?
I am trying to grow mostly like tomatoes and peppers do really well in this area, as does cilantro and like hardy lettuces. So anything that's more desert friendly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for, helping me do my lightning round podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Can you please tell us what is your name and what you do?
Yeah, my name's Chase Coffield. I'm a sales executive for Nexla Data Platform.
Do you pronounce it data or data?
Typically I pronounce it data, but if I'm talking to my girlfriend, it's data, or else she gets mad at me.
Really? You're the first one!
Yeah, I love data. It's amazing.
Do you treat data as a singular or a plural? So is it the data is awesome or the data are awesome?
Oh, I think the question is not are. Even though I think it is a plural, in its totality, I don't consider it an R in terms of usage.
I've had a couple discussions as to like what's actually grammatically correct, which I don't know, and
English professors.
Ben brought up a point and I'll have to revisit it. I have research, but so singular.
Singular.
If you're learning something new, like a data topic or a skill, what is your go-to resource?
Go-to resource is LinkedIn first, and then from there deciding what people are utilizing to disseminate that information, whether that be a Medium article or YouTube or a conference. Obviously, Gartner's and the Forest of the world, sure, they're great and all, but I still think they're lean in a certain way that might be too much for a lot of people to get, because there's also a paywall to some degree to get their information.
Can you tell us a fun fact about yourself?
Yes. When I was in high school, I used to compete in like musical theater, like show choir, and that's a very niche and unique thing because I was also in athletics, so like I lived the whole high school musical life of being torn between the athletics needs and the musical theater needs.
Bonus question, any last words or advice for the listeners?
Yes, get involved with your local data community, whether that's a happy hour or a meetup group or your local DAMA organization, whatever it is. If it's not active, start one, because you will meet so many cool people, find out opportunities, and just be able to share a good time with people that think the same.
All right, thank you.
Cool.